talking Reds, Neil Atkinson and Andy Heaton, to look ahead to Crystal Palace, but to also talk a little bit about this kicker interview that the manager's done. Andy, Manuel Veth has been very kind on Twitter. He is worth following, and he's also worth just generally sort of being aware of. He's quite kindly gone through it all and translated it into English. The sort of standout stuff is the idea that he's just quashed the Karius thing, hasn't he? He said it's nothing to do with the final. If Alisson would have been available at the price you presume, we'd have got him anyway.
Yeah, he was rather frank about it, wasn't he?
He really was. He loves a frank chat.
I mean, he alluded to that. I think last week he said, we would have signed Alisson anyway because we want to improve. And you know what? I think he's that type of manager anyway. I mean, he's quietly ruthless. We all know how he comes across, and people have this image of him as being this big, affable German. But look, when he sees an opportunity to improve, he'll take it. Yeah. Suffice to say, Viv thought he could improve on Salah, and the opportunity came up, he'd do it. There was zero sentiment in him. But you get
the impression he's very committed to them, isn't he, during the season? So he'll protect them during the season, but it's almost like as soon as it's the summer, that's when he is the most ruthless man alive.
He said that, hasn't he? He said that I have players season to season, and then I reevaluate, and then we go again. I believe him. I don't think us signing Alisson's got anything to do with the final. I think he said he would sign them anyway. I think there's obviously improvements. You know my feelings on this. I think there's maybe 5 to 10 really, really good goalkeepers in Europe, and then the drop-off between the best and the rest is huge. My argument would have been, well, I could have understood him sticking with Karius had... or had none of the other top keepers become available. But yeah, the actual quote himself, he said, we found the keeper who was better and we signed them. It was literally that black and white.
Yeah.
So, but then, we talk about it, it's... I think it's going to be his first big test tonight.
It is going to be his first big test tonight. Other things he says quite interesting. He mentions FSG being very conservative. You wonder if that's ever so slightly something around the translation. I think his point is that they're not backed by a country, is what he goes on to say. He's not going to buy a Neymar, but he's making it clear that he is being managed, isn't he?
Yeah, he's being managed. I think I mean, you should really get your Sam to do this because she knows the nuances of the German language more than us. But it comes across as more meticulous than conservative.
Yeah.
In so much as the days of spending money for spending sake, not that they ever did, are gone. I think it's a weird little paradox here. I think they're less likely to spend 10 to 20 than they are now 50, 60, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because
that makes complete sense.
The precision around what they've been doing, and look at the way they waited for Naby Keita, the way they waited on Van Dijk. But when they have to move quickly, as they did with the goalkeeper in the summer, they'll go straight in and they'll do whatever's necessary to get whatever they want over the line.
Other stuff he talks about is the atmosphere around the club, and he also talks about Keita, and I think the two things are almost linked in a way. He's trying to say that Liverpool are preparing. It reminds me of the old Houllier quote, to be honest with you. You can't programme success, but you can prepare for it. He's saying that, Liverpool are not going to win a title, but they are very positive they're far closer and being in the picture for winning a title. And he's also saying around Keita that it's like playing with 12 when he's at his best.
Yeah, we can only create the conditions for success. And I know that's management speak and all that kind of stuff, but it's right. If everything else is in place, then it's a possibility, but you only need one slight thing to be able to kill for it to be an impossibility.
Yep.
So you just do your best to create that environment. And he is right. I mean, I think his first interview with the club was the doubters to believers thing, which is a bit fluffy and you can stick it on a t-shirt and the press love it and blah blah, but he's not far wrong. No. He's not far wrong. I mean, and you can see that's reflected in the fan base. I'm not saying that you can over-egg it, but over the summer, I don't know, right, when Liverpool fans say, we're going to win the league, aren't we? No one believes it. But the fact that we can laugh and joke about it is indicative of
the fact that we're slap bang in it. There's no reason the only thing that stops us, I think, winning the league is Manchester City, and they showed that yesterday. Scored 6 against Huddersfield, having made a raft of changes, brings absolute quality off the bench, plus one young prospect, and you're looking at it going, good Lord, these are so good. That's what there's nothing. If we get 98 points and Man City get 102, what are we meant to do? Say, oh well, we never created the conditions for success.
Well, no, you play yourself, don't you? Really, I mean, that's the way to do it. I think you drive yourself mad if you start looking at gaps. One thing all you can do is your absolute very best and go, well, look. And as you said, I mean, look, in theory, we could get 94 points and finish anywhere between first and third. Does that mean our season's any better or worse than what it is? So, what I found interesting in the kicker interview, we said, and it's kind of, it reminds me, you mentioned Houllier. Reminds me of when Rick Parry came out and said minimum expectation, because there's a line in there, it's a cracking line in there.
Yeah.
and he said there are only 3 teams that are allowed to finish above us. So that's kind of... That's as near as you get as I have to finish top 4 every season or else.
That's the standard that we set for ourselves. Tonight, Andy's going down to Crystal Palace. We'll have a chat about that in a minute or two. Before then, I sat in front of a tactics board, got a little bit nervous, but mostly did all right. How
are you getting on?
Oh, I'm a bit edgy about it at times, and I'm not going to lie to you, but I feel like I've done all right twice. But let's let We'll let the public decide. At Crystal Palace, Roy Hodgson has found himself with a set of players who very much suit the way in which he likes to approach football matches. But there's none more important than Wilfried Zaha. You can make an argument that Wilfried Zaha could be pound for pound the most important player to any Premier League side. And Palace have got him on a big contract this week. He'll be looking to mark that on Monday night with a goal. Zaha's record last season, basically, if he didn't play, Palace didn't win. It was that straightforward. And he averaged around 1 in 2 at home. The way they tended to use him was, this is Benteke. Benteke comes right up here. Tends to have someone else playing off the flanks, and Zaha, having been a winger, became more of a forward. Yes, at times they used Saul off and tried to do something else, and they had a little look at a couple of players, but predominantly we saw it when we went there. Benteke and Zaha coming from either flank with his pace, his power and his ability to arrive. And that's the threat of Crystal Palace. It suits them down to the ground, and Benteke last season, yes, he only scored 3 goals. Yes, he was hugely disappointing in front of goal, but what he offers is that point of reference that Hodgson infamously talked about at Liverpool. That suits Benteke, it suits Hodgson, and it very much suits Zaha. So Schlupp will probably be here, Townsend over here, and then you've got MacArthur and Milivojevic who'll play through the middle of the pitch. I might have mispronounced that, but we'll be all right. Across here, you'll have Van Arnold, who really gets up and down and gets around Schlupp. Sacco and Tompkins, I was speaking before to Robbie Scotcher, and he feels they've created a really nice little centre-back partnership. One to watch, though, is going to be Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka last season, he comes in towards the end of the season after having impressed in training against Zaha. And he comes in to play right back. And then he plays up against Liverpool, he plays up against Manchester United, he plays up against Chelsea, and he never, ever, ever disappoints. Last weekend, Fulham faced Crystal Palace, and they were on the front foot for much of the game, Fulham. But Pat Nevin on Radio 5's commentary said that Sessegnon, who was much vaunted before the game, he finished it in Wan-Bissaka's pocket. He called Wan-Bissaka's performance spectacular. So let's bear that in mind when we're talking about what Liverpool are going to do in this game. That's where we're back to thinking with this Palace side. You're not going to outrun them. You're not going to be quicker than them. Liverpool are going to have to be technically good and tactically as switched on as we saw last week. The question is how we deal with Benteke. Pressure on Gomez here. Pressure on runners around Trent Alexander-Arnold. And remember last season for that as well here. If he starts, it wouldn't surprise me if the manager goes with Klein. But the match may well be won yet again in these little areas here. Can Liverpool outthink Palace with the ball at their feet? Can they be technically smarter, tactically sharper, and can they turn them round? It should be a great Monday night game. Well, and Neil, Palace, managed by Hodgson, he's said something daft about their supporters this week, which he probably could have done without, and he'll always shoot himself on that particular foot. Broadly speaking, Andy, I tried to not bring the Hodgson stuff in when I was doing the little tactical thing there and all the way through, and I've tried not to focus on Hodgson, and the reason why is I've sort of decided I'm all right with him doing all right at Palace. For me, it all finishes when there's that back page of the Times and it says Hodgson resigns in disgrace as England manager, and that's almost the end of it. Like, anything he does now is just some sort of epilogue in his career, which, you know, let him look back on fondly. The fact is, every big job he's ever had, he's failed at, and that's his epitaph. That's what he was in football.
But every time you think you're out, he drags you back in. I mean, I've got him in notes there, times for Hodgson to make question marks. I'm the same. He's an irrelevance to me now. It doesn't really matter anymore. And it's kind of tempered by the fact I actually like Palace, and I like what a lot of things Palace do. I like the atmosphere around the club. We've got a couple of friends down there. Yeah. This Homesdale fanatic spat aside, they tend to come across the right way with the fan base and one thing and the other. So, yeah, I'm fine to just see him in a corner and bother about him twice a season, but he doesn't make it easy for himself, does he? My thing is, maybe I've got this attitude because I think we beat them home and away last season, and I think that helps. You know, if we beat them home and away this season, I'm just almost like, listen, forget that. The idea that the camera gets to cut to his smug face if he's 3-1 up against the mighty Reds tonight, I don't know how comfortable I'd be there. In fact, I can feel the rage rising in me right now, but I do just sort of want to be able to go, listen, that's all sorted. We're beyond that. Last 3 times or 4 times even, I think we've gone there, we've won. We know it's going to be hard. We know it's a difficult place to go. We know they'll fight you. We know they're quick, they're strong, they've got pace.
But, you know, we want to see Liverpool go there and win tonight.
We're a really good football side as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think it's what we're saying in the first part there about the, you know, the confidence Liverpool have got now. Even as far as back to last season before, it'd be worrying a lot more than what it is. You just know that if Liverpool play to their ability, I don't want to tempt fate, but if Liverpool play anywhere near to their potential, Crystal Palace should not be a problem.
Yeah.
Should not be a problem for them. I mean, I was looking at it last night. I watched the Manchester United game yesterday, and you talk about exactly what I'm saying about Liverpool, the self-doubt, that niggling self-doubt where you only need one slight thing to go wrong for you and it all comes crashing down. That was evidence with United last night. They're riddled with it. Where do you think if that was Liverpool? Well, you look at Palace last season, you know, where we concede and then we just keep going, we keep batting on, just go, you know what, if we just keep going, we're just going to win. The only thing that can stop Liverpool, the attitude of it's the old Ferguson thing, we never get beat, we just run out of time. And you get the feeling with Liverpool now.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, that's...
In games like this one.
Yeah, that's the case.
Couldn't agree more with that. A couple of obvious threats, Zaha and Benteke. I think Benteke last season, he only scores 3, gets much maligned, understandably so, because he doesn't score the goals he should score, including against us. The flip side of it is, though, he's always in the game. You always know you're playing Christian Benteke. You know you're playing Christian Benteke from set pieces, and that goes right the way back to goal kicks, right the way up to corners. Yeah,
absolutely. And you look at the goals he has scored against Liverpool. I know he had a bit of a nightmare last run out. But he has tended to show his best against us. He looks like he's absolutely lacking in any kind of confidence. But then, how many times have we said that about us striking in the past, even when we've been great? And it's come back to bite us, so we'll have to deal with that. And they're obviously making preparations for it. There was mentions from the manager's press conference. They made special arrangements, but the set pieces are one thing that they're preparing for them a little bit more than they would maybe with other teams. Just talk, bringing in these rugby tackle bags they're called, which is mad. Because I don't understand how that works, but you know, I'm not John Achterberg, so there you go. But yeah, you're curious what I was saying about Alisson in the first part as well. I think maybe that they may be over-preparing to help the goalkeeper to say, look, this is...
Yep, this is what you're going to come up against.
This is your real baptism, this is your debut, so it'll be interesting to see, although I'd love him to come out and bomb a big one out.
I think he will do that. I think nice, you know anything about Alisson, he'll almost be relishing the first one, where he'll come for absolutely everything.
Yeah. Like a Carragher full-back tackle in the a full-back tackle 3 minutes into a derby, just something like that. Give him the opportunity, come out, bang, see you later, sunshine.
Yeah, I think we will see that tonight. Other things I think we'll see tonight is I think we'll see a very focused, if he starts, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I had an awkward time against Zaha last year, coming off that flank. He knows that may well happen to him again, so I think you'll see that, Andy. The other thing I think you'll see as well, though, is a front three that, and we mentioned Keita before, with Keita behind them, who will be absolutely just as they were last week, so focused, so determined, and I can't believe how much they managed to combine that level of intensity and enjoyment. They look like they really enjoy the work simultaneously. It's almost like a switch flicks. They play unbelievably brilliant football that's relaxed and intense in equal measure, and then they all smile with each other afterwards like, wasn't that great?
I think we've arrived at the situation here, and again, I don't want to tempt fate, because we could go out and have a stinker tonight.
Yeah.
But you look at the great sides in Europe, the great attacking sides in Europe, and it's all well and good knowing what Liverpool are going to do. And Hodgson alluded to this in his press conference, saying, "I'm not sure it's possible to keep them out for 90 minutes." Yeah. I mean, you look at Barcelona a couple of years ago. You knew how they were going to attack, you knew how they were going to score, but it's one thing knowing, it's quite another thing. Yeah, yeah. And I think that the three of them know that now, that if they hit their marks and they hit a certain level in every game, again, 9 times out of 10, at least 1, possibly 2 on the more bag, maybe all 3. And the way they're set up now as well, you only need an early one there, and then barring an aberration, you know, you're expecting 3 or 4 now from Liverpool getting early. I'm excited about Naby Keita tonight, actually. So am I. Room to run into. Yeah. They push out a little bit, 2 centre midfielders who don't really like turning around. Even if they put a third one in there, that lad doesn't like turning around. And the idea that Palace will want to attack at some stage, and suddenly there's Naby and he's got room to run. See that explosiveness that Jurgen talked about in this interview? Yeah. That he was so excited about. He made him sound, didn't he? Say he was. He said he spoke to a scout at another team, or a manager of another team, and he said there's only him and Thiago at Bayern Munich at that level in Germany, which, you know, Not a bad endorsement.
It's not a bad level to be at. Listen, we're excited about the Reds tonight. We've got coming out today, we've got our what we call history show, where we're actually asking you, we'll put the poll up tomorrow, but we're asking you what we should do next. So it's me, Rob and Mike going through our options. So that poll will be out tomorrow or Wednesday. We're also, we've got our Coach Home show looking back over the weekend. The other thing that we've got though is we've got our post-match show tonight, so we'll be getting that sorted for you. There'll also be the post-match pint. That video will be out as well. That's happening tonight after that game in particular, obviously Liverpool Crystal Palace. Then tomorrow it's the Anfield Wrap-Free show, so that's why it's not today. We want to wait until after the game, then we'll have the review, then we'll have the second look. It's so much stuff all around the Reds. If you don't subscribe, you should. If you're taking the time to watch this, take the time to listen to everything we do for £5 a month. Enjoy all of the YouTube stuff. Go back, watch that preview show, see what's to come tonight with the post-match pint. We're having a ball at the minute with the Reds. I'm sure you are as well. Thanks to Andy. Take it easy.